Patriots, and welcome to another episode of The Spirit of 1776, our podcast brought to you by the 1776 community. I am your host, Brock Fankhauser, and today we're going to be talking about our experience at the International Builders Show in Las Vegas, which took place about 3 weeks ago. We've got some of our key team members who were actively involved in organizing the event, planning for the event, and ultimately attending the event. We're going to have Nicole Fankhauser, Irina Divachuk, Bo Maney, and Janelle Price, and we're going to have a fun little conversation just to kind of give you our perspective as to what it was like attending the International Builders Show and introducing the 1776 community. All right, here we are with part of our 1776 team, and as I stated in the cue leading up to this, we're going to talk about our experience at the International Builders Show. And we're going to start with Nicole, who is the creative designer for the 1776 community and was actively involved in the booth design and the creative work that went behind that. So Nicole, why don't you fill us in a little bit about where we started and where we ended up and the experience that led us to what was pretty phenomenal booth design.
Sure. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Our creative team, along with Choreographed Events and the Brandon Agency, worked together to put together really a fantastic booth. We actually increased the size of our booth during the design process, and the end result was super impressive. The layout was inviting, it flowed. The design itself was, I would say, minimalistic yet bold and powerful, and it gained people's attention from all the way across the room. So, needless to say, our booth was completely packed the entire week.
How did we successfully get attention span from across the room?
Funny you ask. We were situated between two bathrooms, which was a joke at first, but then it ended up working to our advantage. We had the men's room and the women's room flanking us. In addition to that, we had a gobo light that we were able to project high up onto the wall. So that gained massive attention from all the way across the room.
Yeah. Did you see any other gobo lights in the entire 800,000 square feet of exhibitors?
No, ours definitely stood out. And I would say, the size of our booth, 10 by 20, it was probably the most well-designed booth in the entire conference.
Yeah. Do you remember touring the Kohler booth, the Kohler Plumbing Company booth? Do we remember?
It was kind of like that on a smaller scale.
Yeah. Do we remember how much they invested in their booth?
$7 million.
$7 million. I think it's safe to say we did not invest that amount, right?
No.
Okay. But the takeaway experience for the visitors, right? How would you assess?
People were so impressed with our message, our booth, what we're doing as a movement. We just had nonstop traffic, people with questions. What are we doing? People wanted to be a part of what we're doing. And so it was super rewarding to see the result of our movement and our hard work. And it's just super exciting going forward.
Yeah. Well, you did an awesome job on the creative work. And I know your mom, Maria Brady of Choreographed Events, was intimately involved. You pulled off one heck of a booth design. Irina, before we were even able to open the booth live at 9 a.m. on that, was it Tuesday morning of the International Builder Show? Talk to us a little bit about the logistics that we had to deal with coming from a design phase all the way to shipping product and materials. What did that look like?
It was, I would say, a little chaotic, if I can be completely honest, given that this is our first time being part of such a cool show. The learning experience of, who do you even contact to ship all your material back is, you're jumping through loops, you're contacting so many different people, organizing it with our merchandise warehouse facilitators to get it fulfilled and sent out. a lot of the things of even getting our brochures and collateral developed, shipped out, it required all hands on deck from all parties.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, you're talking about hours devoted, after hours devoted just to reach, you're talking about your hotel, the warehouse, the electrical, to make sure the electrical back end for our video, our LED wall is all set up properly. It was fun though.
When we showed up the day before the event went live, it was a Monday, and I remember going to the area where our booth was, and as Nicole noted, it was right between the men's and women's restrooms. There was nothing there. There was nothing there, and we were going to be live in less than 24 hours. Describe what it was like watching them put together that booth. It was almost like an erector set.
It was something I've never seen before. Your stress level is here when you walk in. You're like, oh my God, we have to set up. Is our booth even going to be done in matter of hours? I mean, it's amazing how quickly that they put everything together, and you're like, oh my God, there's my booth. It's beautiful. It's everything we wanted.
And to think the companies, right? This is Las Vegas. This is probably the home of conventions in this great country of ours. You've got companies doing this every week, right? Handling those logistics. There's probably an advantage to these companies that probably have somewhat of a monopoly on setting up booths and event space in Las Vegas. But you did an awesome job. We'll go to Bo, if you're connected here. Let's go all the way till 9 a.m. on Tuesday, where the booth is set up. The booth looks amazing. The Gobo light is on. We're live, the curtains open, and people start showing up. And describe to us how you would assess people's reaction to walking by the 1776 community booth, and what happened maybe over the next few days, if we saw anything in common with all of our visitors. I think we have, so that question's going to go to Janelle. Janelle, we went live 9 a.m. Tuesday. What would you say your first impressions were of just people coming by?
Honestly, just to backstep one quick second, we went in the night before and saw the wreckage, and it's just like your eyes are wide. Like, how is this all going to come together? And I remember walking back with Nicole and her mom, Maria, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, it went total 360, and our booth just shined. I think out of all of them, the colors were great. It was in between the bathrooms. A lot of direction was in that way, but I hit the ground running, more looking for people I know and to connect with, as we have a lot of relationships in the home building world. Just kind of say, who's here, who's not here, who do I know, and took a whole stack of business cards, stickers, directed people to our booth, made connections. Our shirts and apparel, people would stop us and be like, that's cool. Where are you guys? Where did you get that? And I would say, we're doing a raffle. Go drop in your business card. Go check out our booth. Go learn a little bit more about us. We have a major connection with ECI. Mark Systems is our accounting software there. Their whole team is an advocate for what we're doing, and they directed some people over there, just meeting people such as credit card companies, people giving away items, wanting to even just get our t-shirt and not even knowing what we were doing, became a whole conversation with everyone standing at the booth and engaging with our team.
Yeah, totally. And I like our strategy, how instead of having everyone in the booth taking up space, because there's not a lot of real estate when you're talking about a 10 by 20 booth that's 200 square feet. But our strategy was to send people with outgoing personalities like yourself, who are more of the hunter type personality. You go out on the floor and you go find people, go find the builders where the builders are, because unless the builders were going to the bathroom, right, it would be a little bit more difficult for them to find us. And that was an awesome strategy. You were that honey trap out there where the builders were congregating, and it worked. And we had just a steady volume of not just builders. We also had developers, contractors, remodelers, manufacturers, consultants, Was there anything that we heard in common? And this is a question for all of you across all of these different segments.
I heard a lot of love the flag, love what you guys are doing here, love America, every time. And then people would pop up things on their phone like, look at this, or show us pictures that they're, you know, wanting to be part of this movement, and they see what we're doing and they love the idea of it. And we would get more conversations with that. And I mean, I think you make a lot of personal connections with people as well, and that makes them want to stop at our booth, want to see what we're doing.
Yeah, my takeaway, if you think about a brand, I think most visitors to the booth, when they learn about the story, because our pitch changed, we've actually practiced in advance a script as to who we are. And it changed dramatically. People would come up and say, what is this? Or who are you? Or what are you doing? Or what are you selling? And we would just shorten it down to, we're selling patriotism. End of sentence. And to watch the look in people's eyes, okay, I don't understand. And then we could go into just a normal conversation about who the 1776 community is. We definitely conversed with hundreds of people, and unless I had blinders on, I think we were about 100% of the people who visited us had positive things to say. And what's cool, though, if you think about a brand, and that's what we're striving for at 1776, is to create a brand. Brands in our world are very difficult to come by, especially in housing where it's very commodity based. It's a house. You're selling a house. And across the landscape of builders, right, there aren't any other builders out there who have that ethos of a Starbucks or an Apple. And we're not going to compare ourselves to multi-billion-dollar conglomerates like that. But for a lot of people, just seeing the numbers 1776 was enough for them to get an idea in their head as to who we are. And that's hard to do, right? If we had a different set of numbers up there or a name, New Style, it would not be very evident or clear to people passing by. What does that company do? And that's the fun that we're going to have taking this brand out to market and going to all 50 states, which is where we want to go, is we're starting out already with a brand presence, right?
Exactly. It was so cool to see so many different people who weren't in home building, that just came there for fun, that live in Las Vegas or they work in Las Vegas. And they're just like, this is so cool. How do I be part of it? How do I do what you're doing? Join the movement, wear our merchandise, follow us, hang out with us, call us. We love chatting with people like that.
Yeah, the movement, of course, we're selling licenses to our brand, right? We're also builders and developers of our own communities where we're selling houses. We're selling the brand to people who want to live in a community with like-minded people. But heck, people who are part of our movement are buying shirts. Heck, they don't even have to buy from us. They just have to agree that America right now needs patriotism. And if you're willing to demonstrate some level of patriotism or love of your country, you are part of our movement, right? All right. Bo obviously dropped off. He's been trying to come back a few times, and I think we've got Bo here. Bo, you with us?
Yeah, I just got on my iPad. The Wi-Fi here, I guess, is pretty bad. Sorry.
What we'll do, because we're going to finish this up here in a minute, since we didn't get to hear from you, we'd like to know what it was like when 9 a.m. came on Tuesday and people started walking by, and how that experience felt for the successive 3 days that we were there, since you and I, of all of our people, spent the most time on the floor.
It's crazy. The energy was just unreal, and it was just so much fun. It was validating. It was energizing. It was educational. I mean, there were just so many things, so many different takeaways that, I could probably spend an hour each on, but, in the interest of time, we walked up I was off and on, but you were talking about, we got there Monday and there was nothing. We come back Tuesday and there's this amazing booth. And even while it was being set up, people were walking by and looking, and you could just feel the interest. And to just be there and have people walk by and say, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm interested. And so you start talking with them a little bit, and then just the creative juices start to flow of, all right, we've got a person here that really likes what we're doing. How do we get them involved? Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but let's get their information and follow up with them. And it was almost to a little bit overwhelming at the end. We're kind of sitting there in the airport at the very end thinking, wow, that was a huge success. Now what? And it didn't feel like we were there from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. It felt like we were there from 9 a.m. to lunch. And next thing you know, we had blown past lunch, hadn't eaten, drank a bunch of water, and people were just coming in. And it was just a lot of fun. I think more than anything, it was just validating that we're doing the right thing here.
Yeah. Validation, I think, is a great word. Irina, we left there with approximately how many leads?
Over 300 leads.
Over 300 leads. So now the real work is ahead of us. Our goal from this point forward is to get in front of some of these leads, learn a little bit about what they're looking for in their respective businesses, how we can help with our brand. As I stated before, in housing, branding is not very common. Certain categories, certain products in housing are pretty good brands, but overall it's a commodity-based industry. And we're here to try to tweak that a little bit and do it with some good old Americanism, a way to give back to our country. So our job is to get in front of these leads again and talk about how we can possibly expand their business, grow their company into a brand to join with us. So that's where we are today. It's very exciting. We'd like to thank the National Association of Home Builders for organizing the International Builders Show. It's annually, it's our Super Bowl. I would say, having been to enough of these, this is one of the best ones I can remember. We're not sure if we're going to go back next year to do the same, but what we've left with was a great mojo for our brand, and it's given us the wind in the sails that we think we need to continue marching forward with the 1776 community. I'd like to thank everyone in our company who was in attendance, some of which are not on this podcast today. Collectively, we pulled off a kick-ass International Builder Show, and for that, I thank each and every one of you, and we look forward to the hard work ahead as we lead our 1776 Patriots up the mountain. Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Spirit of 1776, brought to you by the 1776 community. And until next time, remember, always stay free.